Drainage Board meeting, May 26th of 2026. Do a prayer and pledge allegiance. Lord Jesus, come to you this day. We ask you to bless us, guide us in the county's business, and do what's all for all the people. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Moving on to approval of minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. Second.
First and second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to claims. We have CF Excavating, $952. Hall Run, $4,072.55 in the fund. And the Grant County Treasurer, $3,035.35. Loan from the GDIF to Maintenance Fund.
Make a motion to approve both of the claims.
Second.
I got you. Should go upstairs, get these candy.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to Extreme Excavating, $23,859 for Hummel Creek. The fund has $91,030.88 in the fund.
J.T. Peterson. May I ask what's been done out there?
They just finished up yesterday. They brushed with Greg Brankel up on the top end of it, or towards the top end of it. We're over by Van Buren, north of Van Buren. The total crew? Do a real good job. Took down a sycamore that was 4 foot diameter.
Okay. I make a motion to pay the Extreme Excavating bill.
It does have an outstanding balance. His quote were $26,028. But he wasn't sure he was gonna be done by the time of the meeting, so he didn't charge it off. They'll be sending in a bill for the rest of it.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next one's Cook's Excavating, $3,525 for Pipe Creek. Cook's Excavating for $3,055 for Pipe Creek, and Cook's Excavating for $2,145 for Pipe Creek. The fund has $130,614.28.
These are new log jams, a couple of them west of Oak Hill High School, another one northeast of the high school.
That's gonna be an ongoing problem, right?
Yeah, there's trees for miles and miles, so.
Yeah.
Why has that ever been cleaned?
Yeah, I see that. I don't know. Has it got a problem? I mean, other than the log jams?
Really, you're a log jam all the time.
I know.
It's got a woods for, I don't know how many miles on the north side.
That goes up into Salamone.
Yeah, Miami County.
So I need a motion.
Make a motion to approve the claims for Cook Excavating.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. One abstention. Moving on to old business, the Fowler Drain, reset the hearing date.
Oh, I haven't, it's not completed yet, I guess. It's not ready, right?
It's ready.
Oh. Okay,
So what
when I
dates you
asked
got?
last week, you said you're
Close the
waiting
letter,
on one of the counties.
We got a letter from Madison County saying they don't want a joint board, and Delaware County hasn't responded yet, so that's.
But we were waiting on the assessment roll.
We got it, and
There's only one in Delaware.
but Madison's been updated to
Yes.
match what they send us.
Yes.
So it's not ready, you're waiting on one county?
We don't have to wait on one county in my thoughts. We have one parcel in one county and it's up to the board if you want to wait on one parcel.
No problem, man. I'm fine going on. So we're only talking one parcel.
Yeah, I got mine.
What is our options for hearing dates?
I'm gonna have to look, because I was told last week it wasn't ready. So if you,
Do we want to go on the Heimlich and what she looks on?
We'll come back to that. The Heimlich drain. Petition to vacate portion of the drain, Eric. I'll let you say your last name, sir, there.
Fia people. One for each of us? Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's passing. I'm not sure the one I'm passing around.
One for each of us.
This is a little max.
it's pretty much the same thing. We could do it the 14th.
What date's got?
I can do it, the earliest would be July 14th.
Good with July 14th on the foul.
Raymond, you go with that?
Amy, you good with that?
And what county is it we're lacking, and I'll call them.
Delaware.
I make a motion that we have the Fowler Drain public hearing on July 14th, 2026.
Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All these houses,
No, they're the pattern tiling that Fresno did in that field. The Heimlich used to come through the viaduct, right here, 600 from the viaduct. Heimlich used to come through here and get through this
Down
one
here.
here. But Fresno did all this pattern tiling when he's laying it down instead
Done a lot of work for you.
Fresno rerouted it.
This woods and this
So
woods
down
is the
here,
same.
going out back instead of going
This
up.
road and this road is the same.
so what's wrong with that?
And this is
There's nothing, they're just wanting to make it their part of the Heimlich.
For the record, what is?
I don't, been rerouted to here, so it's taken care of drainage
Should
wise.
be a truck crash.
Actually, this woods and this road is the same.
Like in this.
All right, so we passed out some handouts that are smaller versions of the same things that I'm going to present on here. Just as a refresher on location here, we got I-69, State Road 22, County Road 600 East running through here. And so we were here a couple months back into last year to kind of present our initial plan and seek your guys' advice and conditions for impacting these drains. And so following that, we had done a field survey or a drain tile survey investigation of everything that would be potentially impacted by the project. So we just want to walk through kind of those findings and then the adjustments that we want to make to our plans, as well as a potential vacation of the Heimlich south of the railroad tracks. So starting kind of the central portion of the project, that's where we had the best luck finding drains. So we located the Heimlich from Long Branch back to the railroad tracks, pretty close to where GIS showed it. Varied a little bit. You can see the tan line is where the GIS would show it. And then the blue arrow line is what we actually found in the field. So very close. It was flowing on the day that we were out there. It was a pretty Followed some pretty heavy rain, so not surprising that it picked up a little bit of subsurface drainage and things like that. So flowing seemed to be in good condition from what the investigation found. We also found where the J. Winters tied into that. We didn't locate all of the J. Winters drain, only the portion where it tied in and then crossed the road, just so we know what that easement width is within our project limits. And then continuing south of the tracks, we were able to locate the Heimlich. It's a clay tile still south of the drain, but it was damaged, not functioning because of a multitude of reasons. The first and most significant of which is there's a utility pole placed directly through that drain tile. You can see the clay on the surface. We dug on both sides of that utility pole and found it not functioning up and downstream of that utility pole. So it was not conveying any drainage north of the tracks. And then in addition to that, it ends kind of mid-property, running along the road there with a clay block. So it was a defined terminus. It wasn't just, we couldn't find it any further. It was actually a clay block. It was meant to end there. And this did vary pretty significantly from what we saw in GIS. So just to play it safe, we investigated a couple additional areas. We dug trenches where those small red lines are. The first of those trenches was where GIS showed that it should be crossing the tracks. There was maybe 100 or 200 foot long trench there. We did our best to try and find anything, intercept it there with the trench. And then the second trench, there's a culvert that goes under that railroad tracks. So we're just making sure nothing tied in where that culvert crosses the tracks either.
Where was it? It was a culvert on the west line, you say? The west grid?
Yeah, there's a culvert, yeah, yep. Goes right underneath the tracks.
Surface drain?
Yeah, correct, surface. Yep, so we were just making sure there wasn't any tile tying into there or near that area.
A 6 inch?
Just letting surface water from the south side to the north side of the tracks right here.
You put it in the road?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's been there quite a while.
You did find a tile going across in the viaduct to the southeast side.
Yes, yeah, there was a private tile that we found going over that way. And we located that basically far enough to the east to verify that it wasn't turning south and going to pick up this forested area. It did continue on to the east, going towards 69. And then one of the property owners mentioned that there should be an additional private tile that we were not able to find, but that would be within the setback of the project as a whole, so that wouldn't be impacted if that is in place as well. And then, so moving up to the north side of Long Branch where the Brailsford is shown on GIS, we were not able to find any evidence of the Brailsford. We started at the Long Branch side, dug an exploratory trench where we saw what looked to be a washout or a potential outfall. There was nothing there. And then the drain tile surveyor walked the Long Branch, did a little bit of bucket sweeping with his excavator, and ultimately we're not able to find an outfall for that into the Long Branch. And then also went briefly to the south side of the tracks to see if there was any evidence there. We couldn't do significant excavation. That property owner is not involved with the project, so we couldn't dig trenches or anything like that. But we did not find any evidence from just walking kind of along the tracks there. So that's kind of a summary of what we found and what we didn't find. I guess any questions, first of all, on those results?
Right, I mean, when Eric talks about this, I assume that, when you look up a legal description, it should match what they found.
If it's recorded. I mean,
Yeah.
if the old line shows it out through the field, there's a legal description probably for that somewhere, but if he found it parallel in 600, it could have got replaced and not recorded, and we don't know where it's at. For certain.
Yeah, okay.
But with the tiling that Fresno has done and redirecting all that water to the Long Branch open ditch, the drainage has been accommodated.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of brings us to the second point here. We did hand out the let's go. Personnel information. This thing lost the balance. There we go.
In the back, in the back.
Got it. I just hold these. You don't have to. I'll just hold these. Sorry, tripod's not working well for me today. That one's sitting right there. So, we did want to ensure that this property, so railroad up here, County Road 600 on this side for orientation. We did want to make sure that the property would still continue to drain properly. And we did get this from the landowner of kind of their pattern tile. And it would outfall into the long branch stub that goes south of the railroad tracks. There's multiple private drain tiles that dump into that area. So this would all be maintained throughout construction. It's, we couldn't locate all of this. It'd be too extensive of a survey, but it will be maintained throughout the project. The areas avoided to the best of our ability and then repaired during construction if they're hit with anything.
So where's the project end? That road right there?
Well,
You're talking about that?
yep.
Why should you be in that area? I don't understand. Because it's pilot tile.
Yep.
Why will you be in that area?
Well, this is still a parcel that's involved in the project. And so there will be development there, but it just has to,
They're wanting to put solar panels in that field.
Bristol want that, or what?
That field's signed up, right?
yes.
And the one to the east, to the west of that, and to the south of that is
Who's
signed
put
up.
the solar
Not,
panels?
not to the south and not to the west. It would just
Well,
be to
I
the
guess I'm looking at the parcel.
Yep.
All of President's ground is signed up. The parcel.
This parcel, yes. These two parcels.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Is that what you're asking, Gordon?
Yeah, I'm gonna be.
So what Eric's saying is, or what I'm hearing from you, is even though all that tile's there, you're still running trench lines through that tile. You're still running pylons in that field. You're still running, it's gonna have solar panels and fenced off.
Correct, yes.
Does that make
Still-
sense, Gordon?
yep.
Yeah, now it does.
You understand that, Kenny?
But
Okay, so the question I have, and Andy and I talked about this a little bit on the way in, is to the south of your drawing there, there's a gentleman that owns a parcel by the name of Jeff Gall, and Jeff has called a couple times. And he's concerned about his northeast corner, there's a culvert in there and some tile that drains, he thinks drains to the east and possibly to the north, through the Heimlich. And Raymond, we really don't have a assessment role for the Heimlich, right? So we really don't know, I mean, to shoot you straight. But how would you go about, if that is true, how would you go about protecting his water and his flow of water?
So definitely any culverts or surface drainage patterns will definitely be maintained and assessed. And basically flow will continue. There's minimal earthwork associated with these projects, so we're really not changing surface flow patterns. As far as subsurface tile goes, we're gonna avoid what we found. And then, there's always surprises. There's a lot of tile, whether it's mapped or not throughout Indiana. That would be repaired in place in the field during construction.
And so the problem I have, and these guys can speak right up, is if we vacate this Heimlich, the south of the railroad, because you're only asking to be vacated south of the railroad, correct?
Correct, yes.
And north of the railroad would stay?
Yes.
Okay. I guess I feel like we're not protecting Jeff if he's a taxpayer and paying into it. And so what I'm wanting to hear you say is that we are going to allow his easement to stay, so he has a right to stay all the time. So he can always he doesn't have to fight nobody to get his water anywhere. And so that's what I'm looking for.
So Doug, he's south of Heimlich though?
Yes, he's
So-
down,
So he's
Eric,
not
so-
using Heimlich if Heimlich
well,
terminates on the
we don't
south.
know.
Well, it says with a clay block, it stops. That's what that's what our.
But we don't know what goes around and hooks in other places or anything else.
Understand, but it's not Heimlich. He's not using Heimlich, I guess.
We don't know.
Put the solar panels.
Well, he can't be if there's a clay block there.
Well, he's saying he could be tying into this stretch somewhere in between that we didn't find the tie-in. But
Yes.
even if that's the case, it's not functional, it's not letting any water out.
Well, but it could still be tying in and draining into this map here, correct?
Yeah, you're saying the Heimlich is tying into the pattern tile potentially?
It's all underground.
Yeah.
All I'm getting
Yeah.
all I'm getting at is I'm trying to protect you. I mean,
Understood.
and so whether, and Andy and I talked a little bit about this on the way in, what our options are, because we just have to get out beside each other's car and, or vehicles, and so, I guess whether you try to run Jeff's water to the north, to the south, and get rid of it, and so you can say, hey, this,
So
his water don't,
is Jeff's near the intersection of 600? That's the corner you're talking?
yeah. Is that the east-west road?
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
down this
600
property
south.
here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah, 600 south right here. So,
And
Yeah.
that where your finger is, yeah.
yeah, we did find, I believe there's a culvert down there, and our surveyor did look for evidence of tiles, breathers and things like that.
And there's a breather down there.
Yeah, yeah. And so we didn't see anything associated with the Heimlich, but not to say that there isn't. It does look like the pattern tile extends down there, and that would all be preserved. And that portion specifically, that southern end, we'd be set back from that road. So any connectivity to the pattern tile would be maintained just by this fact that there's not any of the piles down there. And then we're going to, and once it's in the network, we're going to do our best to preserve the network and repair the network if it gets impacted. So I think, we're not impacting the connection to the network, and then we're maintaining the network. So,
And between now and the hearing for vacating, let's say it's July 14th, hypothetical, we would investigate that. We have to show there's no adverse impact to those neighbors, which is something we would show or look at in the next 6 weeks until that hearing on the petition to vacate. So we would make sure that we give that.
And you and I did, and just to be upfront with it, but you and I did talk on the way in about possibly meeting with Jeff. And
Sure.
And
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
why.
yeah. We've been out on site
Yeah.
a bunch with Raymond, yeah, and so I think we'd be happy to do that. So again, that would come up in the hearing, the actual hearing,
Yeah.
since this is just the introduction, we would be obligated to answer that question, Doug, as you're asking now, to make sure he's not negatively impacted. And so other additional investigation, if we need to do that
Yeah.
between now and July 14th, we can do that.
yeah.
So the solar unit is gonna be where that pattern tile is,
Above it, yeah, throughout that property. Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
How you gonna fix all those tiles? 'Cause you can see, and I pound tile my fields, you're gonna have a problem fixing them all.
Yeah, they mend them when they're hit in field and during construction.
Of course, I guess, in some respect, the farmer doesn't worry about it, I don't worry about it either. He's gonna be the one to suffer, but it's the guys that go through there that go, that's their.
Don't work what's going on there.
Yeah,
And then where else will solar panels be on, will it be east of 600 also? Just kind of broad,
Yes, yes, yep.
and then south of 600 also?
Yes.
A little bit to the east.
Is it?
Yes.
At the intersection of
Like,
600 and
there shouldn't be
600?
anything south of here, right?
No, it's on this side.
Yeah, they're on the east
Yeah,
side.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, no, yes.
And so again, confirming, right, who's impacted in this watershed by vacating Heimlich for purposes of notice. We think it's only Fresno,
We're 600.
right?
Andy, say it again.
For purposes of notice of property owners impacted by this, who we have to give notice to for the hearing, to vacate the public hearing, we think this is all on Presnell's land. If it stops with a clay block down here, Presnell's the only property owner affected in the watershed. It doesn't go further south, further east. There's not a widespread.
And this is.
Everybody in the watershed would be
600
notified.
south, First road south
Well,
of the railroad.
Isn't that correct? Right?
Huh?
Isn't that correct? Everybody in the watershed would be notified? Yeah. Because it's a public drain.
It used to go through up there, but now they're bringing it over here and dumping it in here.
Or who does that for Bristol?
I don't know who did the tiling for Presnell.
I don't, Preston's, very happy with it, but I'll tell you, I question they're gonna keep these tile working when you're gonna be punching holes. If it's anything like the solar unit mouse around high school, you're gonna do a lot of punching and running lines. I don't know how you're gonna keep him working, but I guess it doesn't matter for him. He signed off, but the problem is the neighbors.
Yeah, I'll just, like, pursuant to like drainage agreement that we have, as well as with Gas City, like on the flow of water, like it has to be maintained. So like we may put in some new tile, but we have to maintain drainage of the area.
Not until, okay.
The fix is done.
I guess they do.
The fix is done.
So it'll be part of the construction process, like we may hire a local company or have the EPC contractor do it. They're able to.
So what we gotta vote on today, so Raymond, we need an assessment roll for Heinlein, I mean, is that right?
Yeah.
If we're on a public hearing. And that's how far out?
It's in conjunction with Long Branch. Nathan's working on the Long Branch. We can zone in on Heimlich and get that within a week.
So timeframe's not, so how far out is, what's as soon as we can,
We hope July 14th is what we're asking, first meeting in July. So that's 3 meetings away.
What's he asking? Here, you want a date?
I'll see, yeah, date for,
The earliest I could do would be the 14th or 28th, but we've already got 2 for the 14th, so. All of theirs wouldn't take much time.
Shouldn't take extensive time.
14th.
Yeah.
If they're to work with the surveyor, I can go with the 14th. That means I'd have to have my letters sent out.
That work for you, Rich?
Would you have it by the end of the week?
Yeah. There's not that many on it.
I didn't hear the answer.
he said, yeah, there's not that many on it.
Okay.
What is, Eric, what's your opinion of helping the drainage board clean Long Branch? Since you're putting,
As far as like a commitment to dredge it.
take trees off of it?
Arthur, I'll let you speak to that.
Show what area
It's
you're
news to me.
talking about
I'm just asking.
for the board to know where Long Branch is, point it to them
Yeah.
so the board sees.
Along throughout this area and continuing north of State Road 22 as well.
Where would the dredge occur?
Brandon, Arthur's got a question. We're talking about the Long Branch, if they would help any on the Long Branch, cleaning it, dredging it, taking trees off of it.
That might be on the table. I don't know.
I guess where?
I don't know if we've got that far. I think it's just kind of asking you a question. And, whether we need to go out there and meet or Raymond meet, just asking a question in a public meeting and see who's where and where people are stand at.
It'd be helpful to understand the quantum of the work. So it's hard for me to,
No, I get that. No, that's,
yeah.
Are you thinking within the limits of the project, both north and south of State Road 22, or beyond the limits of the project as well? Or is that really depending on where it might be?
personally,
drainage?
I want you to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I want you to write no blank check and we get the job done, if you want my honest opinion. Now, I'm just asking as a question, and I think what I'm hearing from you is, hey, we need to know more finer details. We want to know where it's bad at and how far we gotta go to get good drainage out of there, is what I'm hearing you answer a question with a question.
Yeah, I think, so our investigation did find there's quite a bit of standing water in that ditch.
Yeah.
Like, there is some kind of blockage at some point.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, if we can narrow down the scope of like clearing a blockage or, maybe dredging for a portion of the project, things like that. I think if we can define that, I think there's a willingness to help, but not necessarily
A blank check.
cleaning the whole thing, yeah. For
And I think it
a couple
also
miles.
opens up like potential like permitting too. Like we have to we would work with the state on that, right? Because of like the nature of that, like high watermark and any work done in that area. Yeah, I think we have to look into like the permitting aspects as well, because I do believe that would probably bring in the state.
Yeah, you got wetlands right there by 22. right there in the picture. Isn't that what your dark blob is?
No, that's just the area they investigated to try and find the Brailsford outlet. But there is wetlands throughout this forest area as well.
Brownsburg definitely has wetland on it, and then north of 22, by your index finger does also. But as far as the ditch goes to the northwest, mile and a half from 22 to where the regulated part ends. It's north of Farmington Road. But that's down to your project goes over to 500, but it doesn't go west of 500, correct?
Correct.
So I think like we could assess it and come up with potentially a quantum, but we wouldn't want to be responsible for obtaining all the permits, et cetera, required to do it. Like we would settle on some value and then have you guys do it.
No, I mean,
Take that question out of left field.
Yeah. Willing, open to the idea.
I think it's fair. I appreciate that. I really do, Matt.
We'd have to go on site though and look.
Yeah.
It's Doug as you.
I think that's something that, you know,
Goes down to-
What the work is.
We're willing to help.
There's the railroad, right? Is it on the railroad?
Long Branch run to the railroad.
Just,
Yes, it does.
somewhat, because the tile, the map that Eric showed, pick that map up, please.
This one?
Yep. Where these outlets, show where the outlets are right there, that is a Long Branch pointer. That is where the Long Branch goes underneath and them outlets all drain into.
Yeah, from several property owners, so yeah, very important section along there. Yep.
The utility pole, that's in what tile?
Heimlich,
So we need to see about what that, get it out of utility pole or read it around and around it.
it's, the tile isn't functioning downstream from it, and the tile is broke upstream from it also.
Right.
So just by replacing that tile,
Okay,
it's not gonna open it low.
okay. Question, yeah.
So all we need to vote on today, so a couple things. Number one, you guys are gonna do some work on, the Long Branch open ditch. Come up with a value and contact Raymond, correct?
As far as,
You're gonna work with them on,
yeah, I'll work with.
yeah. And then we'll have a value before the public hearing, I assume, you know, so it all can be talked about on that public hearing date. And then we as a board need to vote on, the public hearing date. Correct?
Yeah, accept the petition, set the hearing date for July 14th, Tuesday preferably. July 14th is what we're asking for.
July 14th or 28th.
So on the, question for the board, right now we have two others on the 14th, the Fowler and Lomax.
But this one should be,
And this, and then, so whether we want to do the third one of the Heimlich,
I mean, it's possible we've done,
We don't want to do 3 hearings now. Unless they're short. I don't think anybody's short anymore.
how big's the Fowler gonna be?
I haven't heard anybody against it. But they haven't got their letters yet either.
And ours will be short, so again, if we can do 3 and showing ours will be relatively short, we prefer that.
so we can get it at the last meeting in June.
Mary's gonna count the dates, see if there's any way you can do it the last.
I have to legally, there's
I think you have to have at least 30 and not more than 40 days, so
40
June,
days.
yeah, June 23rd would work.
240, no later
That's
than
what they
30.
wanted to do.
If you don't,
At least 30, not more than 40. So June 23 would not give us 30 days, even though there are 31 days in May. So between now and June 23rd, which is the next May, we don't have 30 days notice there. 14th we do, we've got 3 weeks to get notice out. We do it July 14th.
figure it out.
I mean, I could probably do the June 9th meeting.
Do we,
No, I mean, I'm on the wrong.
okay, hang on,
I don't care what.
Wrong month.
do we have a meeting on the 23rd, or is it the
No,
30th?
the highlighted one,
Right?
the second month.
That's gonna be June 30th.
I could probably get it done.
Okay, we do not have a meeting on June
As long as I
23rd.
can have the,
Yeah.
You gotta ask Raymond, when do you have to have the letters sent, like?
That's at least 30 days. So he's talking about, do we do the June 30?
okay. no sooner than 40, no later than 30. This is 40. So if I can get them out by the end of the week, they would legally have it in time.
Next week.
If I can't get it out till next week, then we'll have to go to this meeting. So if the assessment rule can be ready for me by the end of this week, here. If not, here,
So can you have the assessment roll ready by
the end of the week.
this week?
Because I would need to get them mailed out.
May
here
29th.
Or here.
This Friday.
Yeah, that's 3 days.
Eric, you mind moving so I can watch her? Thank you.
I don't know.
Or if you have them out, can you have them out, if you have them out by here? They can still
Well, I'll put this into here.
It's aerial and topo.
So we could look at the old assessment roll?
I mean, I don't want to have to change the date again if the assessment rule's not ready, but
Or do we just start over?
We have to have,
Well, the Fowler will be short, right? And this one will
I
be
mean, we-
short, so we should be able to do 3.
Okay,
What do you think?
okay.
July 14th.
So July 14th.
I make a motion to have the public hearing to vacate the Heimlich drain on July 14th, 2026.
Got a second? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
So we have 3 that day. Okay.
Thank you to the board thank you for hearing our introduction and scheduling this, we appreciate it. And we'll get with Raymond in the field.
All right, moving on to the Lomax drain. We need a vote on a hearing date on it too.
when the motion was made for a hearing, you had asked the surveyor what date, he said July 14th would work. And Doug made a motion but forgot to mention the date.
So we're still, that's one that's already had, right? On the 14th.
Yeah, we're not adding any more to the 14th. It's already,
You can vote. It's on 14, so I need a motion.
That's, yeah.
Motion to what?
Put Lomax drain, the hearing date in July.
Yeah, he accidentally didn't say the hearing date in the motion.
So we can have all the things we need by that day.
Yeah, this is already ready. This is one of the 3 that we're gonna do.
Okay,
We just didn't say it right in the last meeting.
so we're gonna have lunch here.
Basically, this week for a vacation.
bring lunch? Andy, you bring lunch on the 14th?
It's Bastille Day, so would you take French croissants? Brie and croissants?
I make a motion, we have the hearing for the Lomax on July the 14th also.
Second that.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to new business. The Bellevue restricted tile.
This is the one you had me put on.
I put it, we had to go over and get Brad over there again, just plug back up, but remember,
That's it.
in Jonesboro, yeah, we raised the rate, remember? So it'd be collecting, so we had to get Brad back over there, and then Raymond kind of fill you in what's going on over there.
we got a blockage in the main tile outlet close to north of 22, or south of 22, but we had to go in at 22 and come upstream to find it. There was still water standing in the manhole on 6th Street, and we need to jet downstream and see if we're not blocked in the fence row right there. It goes south or north and through a fence row, and I'm guessing there's a blockage in there also.
Very likely.
So from the hole we're gonna dig to work on it and the road, we should be able to get to it from both directions and Bragg's.
So that's just kind of an update, I had to give them the okay, we didn't, because we collected, we raised it, because they never did answer, so we're gonna have to fix them.
Yeah.
And I'm just talking about putting a riser on the southern section. We get one more riser in there, then you can reach the whole section from the risers and the ends.
So it'd be cheaper, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All right, moving on to other business, the J Winters drain.
I got one in between.
Oh.
Can we get the Hazley assessment roll put on the computer so we can fill it out for Mr. Furry. He wants to analyze who's on it so they can decide whether they want to work on it privately or if they want to come to the board and reactivate the Hazley or what they want to do with it.
Was that what you had me?
It's off of Big Deer Creek,
Because the other stuff needed done first.
south
I don't have a
of,
problem
south of
with
Elliott, I
it.
believe, not too far.
Just trying to.
I don't have the map on me at the moment. It's not, it's,
Where you wanna know where the Hazley is?
yeah.
650 south and about 3/4 mile west of State Road 9,
Right, where Wayne Free lives,
right on the west side of his house.
okay,
That runs south to 700
yeah.
and crosses 700 and then comes west a little bit. I forget if it goes west of 700 or goes south there.
Yeah, I know where you're talking about.
You know that area.
Yeah, it's on 8, close to 7.
Crosses
I
700
know where you're talking.
and goes along 100. The previous assessment roll that Mary has in his file is rural Route 1 and, you know, so it's got some age to it.
Nathan's already done a watershed map. We have the parcels ready. We just need to put them on an assessment roll to give him.
You mind doing that?
What's that?
Put it on
Yeah,
set.
put that on, yeah.
Good.
Okay, if you tell me to. Okay, and then what's the status of Little Black Creek for Gary Inslee?
Nathan should have gave you the letter.
Okay.
Nathan should have gave you a letter. Do you have a letter? You might check on that sheet. I don't have it. You don't have a letter.
We finished the letter and the map. He was supposed to have given it to you.
Yep, I've not received them. And what about, the little newbie?
Think about it.
Second half and a little newbie.
Second half.
When we get to it, I mean, you make me phone calls, we get phone calls, we get inquiries, we check on it.
You're busy.
Yeah, I'm busy.
Other people?
We got Hummel to do, we got little newbie to do.
Okay.
I'm doing the watershed for,
Well, to be fair, we did ask them to do the Fowler and the Lomax and
the Heimlich.
So,
Black Creek, Little Black Creek, because it took time to do because it was wet. Didn't feel like walking a mile, only can drive it.
Okay, moving on to other business. Jay Winters Drain, continuing of the hearing to vacate.
My mic's not on, so I'm just gonna speak loudly for you. Jason Miller, city engineer, representing the Gas City Redevelopment Commissioner as the petitioner. We submitted the petition for vacation dated February 27th of this year. Since then, we've had multiple correspondence provided to the board. We provided a letter of support from the American Legion, which included 7 signatures from their board members. They were also present last meeting and spoke in support of the petition for the vacation. We've provided a map of the proposed improvements that are proposed on the subject property owned by the Redevelopment Commission. And that shows the improvements and the relocation of stormwater infrastructure, both surface and subsurface. We've provided a map showing the existing drainage patterns, which includes the outlet from the pond on the American Legion, which was the subject of some concern for the upstream watershed. We provided a letter from the petitioner, which is the Redevelopment Commission, indicating that we will manage the existing and proposed stormwater drainage on the property. We also have a city stormwater drainage ordinance that regulates construction activities for existing and proposed drainage elements within the city of Gas City. We've also, in that letter, indicated that the Redevelopment Commission confirmed that there would be no cost to this board or any landowners within the watershed of the Jay Winters Drain should there be any issues arise now or in the future regarding the vacation of the Jay Winters Drain. In addition to that, we've provided at your request an indemnification agreement indicating that the board would not be responsible and held harmless from any errors or issues that would arise in the future. We've discussed with Kyle Persinger, your board attorney, this last week, and he indicated that there was no concerns and was satisfied with the letter. So we would request that the board vacate the Jay Winters Land and Loan Company regulated drain and find that the drain does not perform the function for which it was designed and constructed, that the expense of reconstruction outweighs the benefits of reconstruction, and that the vacation is not detrimental to the public welfare. Again, I would stress that the drain itself is located on land owned by the petitioner and by reference letter from the American Legion. They've expressed support for the vacation. So again, I'm happy to answer any questions. With me this morning is the mayor of Gas City, Mayor Rock, as well as the president of the Redevelopment Commission, Jim Spurgeon. So we are happy to answer any questions and would ask that you enter an order vacating this drain.
What's the Legion? What's the Legion gonna do for trade? Take care of them.
No, I don't have any questions. I appreciate what he did. I think the main thing of my concern was, you know, the Legion and what they were gonna do, and so I appreciate, you know, Rock and Mr. Mayor Rock, and I forget your name, gentlemen. Jim, and Jason for all you did, and so, I'm content. I think the drawing made it easy. The drawing, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it's a done deal, and, you know, I'm okay vacating.
Well, the Legion and the property, they own the property,
Yeah,
so they don't have to handle the water somewhere.
that's right.
It'd be at their expense when they,
You know, the Legion's been contacted, the Legion's been,
okay.
so I think it's,
So I need a motion.
and you got questions? Trevor?
Several members of the Legion signed off on it.
Yeah.
They did the last meeting. They sat over there where Mayor Rock was sitting down.
And you have a letter in your packet.
Yeah.
You gotta take care of Legion.
I'm sorry?
You gotta take care of Legion.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to.
They're signed off.
Absolutely.
So, you good? You got any questions? Gordon?
No.
I'll make a motion that we vacate the J. Winters Land and Loan Company ditch.
Second.
Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
I need a motion to adjourn.
Go on, question.
Oh, good.
Mitch Cook had Mark Plessner calling with breakdowns on the Lumbo tile. Do you still want to work on it before they do their reassessment, or how they're going to approach it? It's a big hole you can park a truck in, it looks like.
That's,
There's some
one
money out
of
there.
the was talked about last month, last,
Oh, that's the ones that are gonna get the board together. to come
Yeah,
back.
The hole.
Yeah, we're gonna let them make that call. They don't get.
Well,
Time to have-
Right.
Well, I think they ought to go ahead and I think they ought to go ahead and fix it, because that board may not get together,
Okay.
I mean, for a while. What do you guys think? I mean, I think that, and then,
They gotta set that up as a deal. It's like,
yeah, but all Raymond's wanna know is the board okay spending some, is this drainage board okay paying to have that tile, those breakdowns fixed, right?
there's so many places in that tile.
well, if I had the hole in it, I want it fixed.
Yeah,
You know, it may be wasted money down the road.
but it may be there for 2 years.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
You okay with that, Ken?
I don't know.
Fix it.
Whatever you guys wanna do.
Get a letter wrote up and Mary can
So
send
I'm
it.
just saying that when that thing's all
You guys been
settled,
working on that?
it's gotta be put
Mitch is ready
together
to.
as a group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they gotta fix it so they can farm.
We got like 30,000 or something of
Yeah.
American National.
When I looked into the Lumbo, it looks like there's a Pennington tile running parallel with the Lumbo tile. That's what the old plan showed, the Pennington tile. Runs on the north side and takes off there east and west before the Lumbo keeps going south.
And so is it on the legal description? Or have you got that far?
I gotta look into the file further.
No, I want to encourage them to fix it. Maybe 2 or 3 years before they get to,
How much is it gonna, you don't know how much it's gonna cost to fix it.
Not a massive amount by no means. I mean, there's at least 20 feet that's gonna have to be replaced.
And it won't be for naught if they do that, but in the meantime, he needs drainage.
Yeah, it's just gonna get worse. Cool.
And there's money in the
Do
fund.
we need a motion for that?
There's like 30,000 out there.
Yeah, go right ahead. Go right ahead. All right, I need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn the May 2026 drainage board meeting.
Second.
Nope. She sent you something. After.